Hello, Brian Wee here, and in this training I want to talk about horse business success versus horse show success and how the two are related, but how I've actually found a lot of people do better by decoupling and no longer feeling like they need horse show success to get horse business success. So let's talk about that in more detail. So will horse show success enhance your business? Probably. If you're a riding instructor, a horse trainer, having those accolades, doing well at those shows, being seen and kind of a place for you to market yourself and bring in clients, we all think that's a good thing. But I think most riding instructors and horse trainers might overestimate the importance of that and ultimately to their own peril. So when I was riding, I know that I thought there was a professional rider track, and I often thought about that, like what's that like to be a professional rider? But the more I look at it, I don't really think there is a professional rider track, at least not the way there is in other sports. For example, we know there's professional basketball players, like even on a minor league level. My brother-in-law played basketball in Europe, right? And he got paid. All he had to do was play basketball, and he was paid to play basketball for a team. He didn't have to sell basketballs. He didn't have to teach kids how to play basketball. He didn't have to help other people with their basketball. He just played basketball. But when you kind of take a look at what we consider to be professional riders, I don't really know of a contract where you're just paid to ride for the pure joy of watching you ride. It's usually some weird, murky, arrangement. And I think that's a problem in our sport and something that, hopefully one day will be addressed. But for now, it's important to remember that. And let's take a look at what we think are professional riders, but maybe talk about what's commonly going on behind the scenes of professional riders, and why trying to imitate that for some people is low likelihood of success, and certainly not with any kind of probability, certainty, or in any sort of timely manner. So what do I mean by that? So you might see a professional rider at the top of the sport who doesn't come from money and appears to just be riding really nice horses at horse shows. A lot of times those top riders that don't come from money, they have a financial backer. And the arrangement of the deal is something like, hey, I'm a billionaire. Why don't you teach my kid and sort of be their coach? And in return, I'll put you on a nice salary and I'll buy you some Grand Prix horses that you can ride. So you see this person that appears to be a professional rider, but really they're a sort of a kept trainer from a very wealthy family, or there's some sort of that they have to help with their riding, right? The problem with that is, not only is the problem with the horse show success, you feel like you need it for business success. Not only are you on the road all the time, but assuming you like that and you like that horse show life, the other problem is even if you were to get it, okay, let's just say you were to get some family you're going to be their private coach for their daughter, and in return they're going to buy you Grand Prix horses, and you're going to be on the circuit full time, and that happens, and that does exist, and that opportunity is out there. One of the problems is client diversification with that, meaning if you have a bad day and you say something wrong to that kid, it might be your last day, right? Because that family is probably going to be able to find another person that wants to just be paid to ride and show all the time. Unlikely if you're going to find another, multimillionaire or billionaire family that's going to sponsor you. So you don't have good client diversification. The other thing about feeling like you need horse show success directly for your business success, if that's your business plan, if that's your investment, is you want to take a look at really what's the investment and what's the return. And this is what I hear a lot of parents being upset about, because they're like, wow, I just sunk so much money into my kid, you wouldn't believe, right? They could have been a doctor 3 times over or a lawyer. And really, what's the return, right? When you invest all that money in showing in yourself, or somebody else does, the return to become a riding instructor, it's kind of depressing, right? Or what somebody else will pay you as an assistant trainer, those jobs don't pay that well. Another professional riding job that you might have seen is riding for a sales barn, because you're a professional rider. You just ride for the sales barn. You don't have to deal with the clients. That can be a lot of fun. The problem is that ultimately it's not professional riding, right? Like you're trying to sell horses. You're riding in order to sell these horses. And that's stressful, often doesn't pay very well. And if you're the rider in somebody else's program, right, they don't make any money unless they sell some horses. They often get stressful. Those are oftentimes highly stressful people to work for, right? AKA they're mean. So those are some opportunities that are out there that just, unfortunately, like if you guys hear of great opportunities, of a great place to position yourself in the horse world, in the horse show world, let me know. I'm all ears. I love discussing this. But the other person you see a lot of times having success in the horse show world are like second and third generation riders, right? That's the ultimate investment is these families have gone all in for multiple generations, and then they start to see that success and kind of find this sweet spot. But if you're not like a third generation horse trainer or riding instructor, and your plan is, well, I'm going to find or a huge fund or a huge backer, the likelihood of success of finding those things is low, and I don't really know of a predictable way to get there. So I hate being a business coach that doesn't really have a plan for somebody. I think if you look at the people that are enjoying that, it's not necessarily duplicatable or easily duplicatable. So what is duplicatable? I'll get to that into a second, but I also want to clarify that I do recommend that as riding instructors, as horse trainers, you are going to horse shows and you do have horse show goals and you are investing in yourself. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying set up income streams that aren't dependent upon horse show success. And I'll get into exactly what that is and why I recommend the home-based, lesson-based model and building that up and how fast you can build that up. But I'll continue. The other problem with kind of needing horse show success for business success or feeling that way, or people that make a living off of that horse show success, that can almost be a blessing and a curse, right? Because you're only as good as your last horse show success, or at least they feel that way. Sometimes their clients, if they're or their clients' horse show success, their clients can leave when they don't feel like they hit their goal and they blame their trainer. And then also, I think that's what also leads to a lot of the horse abuse that you see, where people, they need to win to feed their family. Like that's a terrible position to be in, where you need horse show success in order to feed your family. Whether you're taking sales horses on the road and they have to win in order to sell, or you feel like you've built a book of business around horse show success, and if you don't get horse show success, then your clients will leave. So those are some reasons why I don't think it's smart to sort of to think that you need that in order to be financially successful. Or if you are thinking about your business right now and you're like, yeah, I kind of do require it. So what I recommend is finding people that want to take lessons at your facility at home. Could be on their own horses, could be on lesson horses. With good advertising and with being a great instructor, you can get 5 lesson clients a month. Let's just say that might be your goal. That's a pretty reasonable goal, to get 5 people that maybe want to take one lesson a week. If you hit that rate for like a year and a half of just putting your head down, you're not focused on the horse shows, right? You're letting somebody else go into that rat race and look for the billionaires and to play that game. You're more focused on building a lesson-based business at home as step one. You might go, at that point you might start going to some shows on the weekends and stuff, but your priority is building that lesson-based business at home. So after a year and a half at that rate, most people of just getting 5 clients for a year and a half, now they've got a full book of business. But very few riding instructors have the discipline or the business skills to just sit down and quietly build up that home-based lesson revenue. After a year and a half, it should be between $20,000 and $30,000 a month of non-board revenue if you're building at that pace. 5 clients a month, you can really get somewhere fast with just 5 clients a month. Some people can build faster when they get really good at advertising and kind of hit a pocket and get hot. But at that point, they have a real business, and the beauty of that home-based business is it is kind of nice to have like 80 lessons a week, right? And if you're doing group lessons, if you're doing groups of 4, that might be 20 hours of teaching, right? If you built that business for yourself, the beauty of it is the client diversification to some degree. So the client that had it's pretty tedious to do that for a year and a half, but the client that could make themselves do that, the riding instructor that can make themselves do that, build that business. Now they got client diversification, nobody owns them. Versus in the parallel universe where they kind of got lucky, they got 1 or 2 really big clients and they're on the road all the time. The problem with that is they only have 1 or 2 clients, and obviously things can happen and they can lose those relationships and have absolutely nothing. So that's where I like the client diversification model and preach and practice that. And I've actually talked to people on both sides of that equation that really don't like it. Meaning I've talked to the riding instructor who only had a handful of big clients and felt a lot of stress because that relationship was just too important. You don't want to have one client that's too important. And then I've also talked to the clients who are like, I have a toxic relationship with my trainer. Like I've talked to the wealthier students, and they're like, I want to leave, but if I leave, like I know I'm going to break this person, but I want to leave, but I don't want to break this person. So the clients don't really like it either, because it's kind of like, most people want to be able to change their coach, and try different coaches. It's in our industry, it's considered like a crime. Like you're expected to be loyal for 10 years. It's like cheating on your wife or your husband, but it's like, the reality is you should be able to change coaches and not have it like devastate somebody. So that's why I preach client diversification. That's why I recommend building that home-based lesson revenue, rock solid. And then when you go to the horse shows, there's no pressure, right? And you probably do better. And then you that still enhances your business, and you still might pick up on top of that, a really big client that likes you and likes what you're doing and likes your approach and wants to work with you. And you can kind of have the best of both worlds. So I hope you got something out of this training. Thank you for tuning in. I do specialize in helping riding instructors build that home-based lesson revenue, everything from how to price it, how to market it, how to deliver it. If you're interested, click below. I can give you a trial. You can see what it's all about and if it's right for you. So again, thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you in the program.